Hi, this is Christopher Friedel here at NAPE with the Texas Blockchain Council. And right here I have Patrick with Blockgreen. He's going to run us through a little bit of what they do over there. Patrick, you introduce yourself.
Sure.
You're with the Texas Blockchain Council over at NAPE, and we're running through what people are doing, what they're looking for. Your company's doing some interesting stuff. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Patrick Guerriero. Thanks for letting me speak. Our company, Blockgreen, we are a hash rate streaming protocol.
Now, what does that mean?
Yeah, if we can break it down for you. So my career started in commodities, first on the physical side, and then moved to a long-short fund called Aurelian. Took a liking to power, electricity, energy markets, which lended itself fairly well to Bitcoin mining. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because in traditional commodities, a lot of the people are here actually today. There's something called royalty streaming, in which a miner receives funds today in exchange for their output, or in our case, their hash rate, Bitcoin, metals and mining, their finished product for an extended period of time.
So there's someone buying the discounted current value of their future stream.
Correct, exactly right. We discount their production. It's a proprietary model, and our investors, receive their return that way.
So they get whatever the investor threshold is, they're able to buy it now. They have their model, they build in what they're willing to take for that.
Correct.
And so both parties, so the person that's selling is able to receive cash now for production.
Exactly. They're able to crystallize revenues now. It's similar to any NPV business.
NPV is net present value.
Right? A dollar today is better than a dollar tomorrow. The same can be said about Bitcoin. So, there are some scenarios where, let's say, a miner has an agreement for 6 months and hash rate, continues to rise. They're going to be in a pretty good spot because they're able to realize revenues spot. Whereas, should hash rate roll over, maybe some China ban, somewhere like that. In that regard, the liquidity provider would receive returns in excess of their expectation.
So it's really just a hedging model for miners. So your ideal client, who's your ideal client?
So our ideal client is a miner that, has experience. We prefer a combination of, a management team that's financially astute, but also has an energy background.
Why is that energy background important?
Exactly. So we actually are proprietary miners ourselves. One side of the business, we use flared or excess gas that would otherwise be flared to mine Bitcoin. Now, if you have, someone with an energy engineering background or, more of a technical background, it only helps ensure the operations, and it ensures that management's going to be a good custodian of assets. And, a combination of both is something that we prefer, just because we've seen a few iterations of this now where, you see large financially engineered mining companies, coming to market and the market hasn't exactly been good to them. So, we realize that energy is a huge part of Bitcoin mining, maybe the biggest part. And so we really want to perfect that and, partner with miners or businesses that are doing so in a sustainable way. And I say sustainable less in the sense, oil and gas bad, green energy good. It's more just a sustainable business. There are a lot of ways to reduce emissions, whether you're mining with solar, wind, gas, stranded energy. We are pro-energy. We are also pro-sustainable business. So those are the partners that we're looking for in the mining space.
If I'm hearing you right, it sounds like, so people have gotten into the space and, with the market, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked.
Sure.
And, if you don't have a strong financial model, you don't have good counterparty risk. And part of it sounds, if someone is going to purchase that cash flow, purchase that hash rate, right now they want to make sure that the guy's going to be in business 6 months down the road. And if you only understand one part of your business but not the other, and maybe some of the miners, they understand mining but they don't understand energy, or they don't understand finance models, that's where you run into issues.
Exactly. It's unfortunate, or whether it's fortunate or unfortunate. My previous company, we saw a lot of models. You can make a model basically say anything, right? And so, you look at some of the models that we're seeing, and really there's not one scenario that we want to plan for. It's, we have a bear case, we have a base case, we have a bull case. If there's one thing I've learned, the last 3 years in mining, is that nobody can predict what this market is going to look like.
Yep.
And that's not a bad thing at all, right? We just want to make sure that miners who are operating in a ethical manner, a sustainable manner, and that we are able to provide them with liquidity that otherwise wouldn't be available.
Well, if they don't, I mean, the problem is that's in the space is that you have people that got in, went heavy when they're overextended, the market's crazy, nobody cares about counterparty risk, and then as the market switches, that's not an issue. The guys that you're in business with, you want to know that they're there 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, we saw some of the most well-respected miners in the space, unfortunately, looking more like long-only hedge funds in, let's say, end of 21. Bitcoin at 67 whatever thousand it was. It was a hodl strategy, which on paper might have looked okay, but these are not long-only hedge funds. I say these miners, they're real Bitcoin businesses, right? And in order to do that responsibly, it makes sense to, hedge a little bit of your future production, whether that's through a Bitcoin-denominated loan or, a more nuanced product like ours. It's important that miners have sort of a mix of, their treasury Bitcoin, which, I certainly don't want to tell anyone how to run their business. But, you need to protect yourself for a number of scenarios because, as I mentioned, this market is unpredictable, but it's a market that a lot of us really enjoy working in. So
the only stability in Bitcoin is the volatility.
Yeah, very well said. I thought that was where you're going with that. Yeah.
And so I think it sounds like you guys are prepping for giving people the tools to prepare for that volatility.
Exactly.
And what kind of a market are you seeing for that right now? What kind of appetite are you seeing for the market?
Right.
And how do you see that evolving over the next 12, 24?
So I think, generally in the mining space, you see that the market is fairly thin. I don't think if someone had, let's say $500 or $1 billion, they could really put that to work responsibly in Bitcoin mining. And, I think that changes. Frankly, we're seeing more interest from traditional commodity players. Obviously, a lot of the crypto native funds were wiped out with a lot of the contagion. But, as the more astute and I didn't see too many people who had an edge during my time, but, the few that did are still here. So I think, in the next 12 to 24 months, you're going to see an increase of liquidity. There are a plethora of financial products similar to ours coming to the market, which I think is a great thing. You look at some of the traditional commodity merchants, your Cokes or, name your large player, there are a number of ways for them to hedge, right? There's, different strikes, different durations, different types of products, expiries, and the market's going to dictate who's the best or what product is the most efficient and effective, and we certainly feel like at Block Green, we'll be able to service the market with high standards.
By doing that, you're allowing liquidity to come in to the marketplace that can then employ different strategies.
Sure, yeah.
So they can come in, maybe a shorter duration product. Some are going to want a longer duration product.
Exactly.
And it allows for, as that liquidity enters the marketplace, it allows for other businesses to get built up around that.
Exactly. It's, we want to provide capital not just for hedging, right? Your working capital, general corporate purposes, or however miners feel that the funds can be best used to improve and strengthen their business.
Now, where do you see the highest amount of risk in employing Block Green? If someone's going to come in and say, "Hey, I want to use y'all services,"
sure.
What's the highest risk for the participant?
Yeah, so I think the highest risk is corporate counterparty risk. So our liquidity providers face the miner directly. We sit in the middle as a facilitator, but I think with every investment comes a certain level of risk, and there is market risk for sure. There's systematic risk, but one aspect of risk that we've been able to take out is really the Bitcoin price risk, just because our funds and allocations are all denominated in Bitcoin and all returns are in Bitcoin. So one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, and obviously I'm like everyone else. I check the price 1,000 times a day, but we like to think that.
So you haven't been in here since 2011?
No. 2018, 2019 was my start.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is really my first bear market.
Bear market. Okay.
We're working through it.
You get catch teeth on that.
Right. Exactly.
At some point, your dopamine receptors get so destroyed.
They turn off. Yeah.
You're just like, I just got to build something. We're gonna focus on building.
That's about it.
So, but no, that's great. It's great. It's great to see that innovation in the marketplace.
No, I appreciate it.
So,
and thanks a lot for having me.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Make sure you share with the audience.
Yeah.
what you're looking to get out of when you come to a conference like this, who you're looking for to
Sure.
Call you guys.
Yeah, if you're a miner, if you are a Bitcoin investor in search of yield or Bitcoin liquidity, give me a call. My name is Patrick Guerriero. As I mentioned, my email is patrick@block.green. On Twitter @PATTY0G. And we'd be happy to chat. It's a growing space, and any insight or feedback is appreciated, and also would love to share what we're doing.
Excellent. Well, that you definitely have chops when you're off dropping the Twitter handles. So,
Yeah.
we're at a NAPE conference, and not a lot of people are going to drop the
maybe
Twitter handle, but
the 8 other people that follow me would really be happy about it.
Hey, there's a lot of great businesses that get done there on Twitter DMs. So,
yeah, that's exactly.
Excellent. Well, thanks for stopping by.
No, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, Ryan Harper. I'm sitting at the NAPE Summit 2023 here in Houston, Texas at the TBC PubJect Power podcast booth. And I just wanted to give a couple of updates about the summit and what we have planned. We just went live with our ticketing, and I just sent an email out to, 5,000 plus people to get early bird ticketing. But that's not why I wanted to do a video. One of the things I wanted to convey is what we have planned, what we have aspirations to be, and how we see the summit being moving forward. The last 2 years have been amazing events, and it's been centralized around Texas, centralized around policy, and great efforts in Austin, Texas. Moving forward, we want to have a much bigger footprint. We're going to be in Fort Worth in November 15th and 16th. We're going to be at the convention center. We're going to have a trade show floor. We're going to have speakers that you didn't think that we could get. We have aspirations to get some high quality, high profile people, both in policy, both in political world, and in the Bitcoin blockchain digital asset space. We're going to have workshops, we're going to have startups, we're going to have universities, we're going to have nonprofits, we're going to have opportunities for startups to pitch their products. We're going to have opportunities for nonprofits to kind of showcase what they're doing, their social initiative. Our goal is to include everything that enterprise, blockchain, Bitcoin, digital asset space would want in an event. Bitcoin Miami is amazing. Consensus is amazing. Both of those events have 20,000 plus people, but both those events are probably more of your retail space. Our goal is to make the summit the premier policy, Bitcoin, blockchain, digital asset space for everyone across the country. If you're an enterprise, if you're professional, if you want to do deals, if you want to make real change, the summit is where you need to be. This video was supposed to be 30 seconds. You're welcome. Anyway, we look forward to giving you more updates, and we'll see you at the summit.